Hi there. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm Catherine. I'm going to actually work on one of the pieces of ephemera that's in this book. I had a request in the comments under when I did the little tour through my ideas book that I just recently created from my old ideas journal. And this person wanted to know how to make the journaling place that flip-flops out. This one right here. So now here's the cool thing. I love this. I'm just going to take the page right out and move this book over out of the way. I'm already loving having a binder so much. There we go. So this is not my idea. Let me come in close so you can have a good look at it. It's not my idea. I saw it on a creator who went by the name Mackenzie K on TikTok. I haven't found her since. And she didn't explain how she did it, but she showed it so often that I was able to sort of figure it out, because this is also a pocket back here. It's just so cool. And I seem to recall I did this, made it look like a little ribbon in behind. I think, I could be wrong, but I think she had it just go up into another triangle, which would also look fine. I'm pretty sure I put my own little twist on it. And so it gives you journaling here. And then if you want, you can journal onto the green. I mean, if you're using a dark pen or a dark, a black micron marker, you could. Or else I've also, when I've made them before, because I have actually made this one, you can cut small strips and put them on this side, put little panels. You can put little ephemera bits. And this is the width of a piece of scrapbook paper. So that's a good start. So I've got one here. But I also want to try, I'm just curious, I want to try and make one out of regular paper that's even longer, so it looks like I would get a whole other flip. So we'll see. We'll do this one first. And so if you're interested, stick around and we will make one of these out of this. Now I recommend, again, not sure what she used, but I recommend that you use the thinner kind of scrapbook paper that literally is more like paper rather than cardstock, because it's going to be folded so many times. And so the first thing you need to do is cut your shape. And the height of this part is, if I actually hadn't cut that off, it would have gone up to 6 3/4. So let's measure to on here. 6 3/4 is right there. And then on your low side, I guess if you want to flip it out the other way, you can just do it the opposite. This side is 3 inches tall. So just use your ruler and mark 3 inches. And then I'm going to grab a cutting board. This is my old favorite one. You'd think it's ready to be rehomed into the garbage, actually. I mean, I had the brilliant idea. I thought, I'll clean it. I'll use acetone. Well, the acetone, of course, took the grid right off of it, in addition to all the glue that's all over it. I just love it so much. Yeah, this one's not wide enough. So let's find a wider one. I just love the convenience of it. So we'll use this one instead. And I don't know whether I need my long ruler. I'm going to need my longer ruler. If you're good with rulers, you can use a shorter ruler. But I am going to find my little notch that I drew for myself up here and my little notch down here. And then I'm just going to use my cutting blade. And go up there. And you can see here, you can make another one. You could make it even taller if you want it to a full height. We'll do the size that my original one is. We'll do that one today. So then what you're going to do is, if you're a good folder, you can just fold. I am not the best folder in the world. This looks like it's just approximate. That doesn't matter. So you mark off every 2 inches. Unless you're good at using your scoreboard, because you're going to need your scoreboard, or else you're going to need to draw lines for your folding. However you fold best, you do you. And then you're going to score along every 2 inches. Where did I put it? There. There. Sorry about that. There. There. And there. It's just such a fun little thing. And like I said, because I've kept my ideas book over on my bookshelf, I just wasn't walking over there to grab it and go through it and make use of the ideas in my ideas book. So I flipped it over because this side is blank and it's easier to see where I've scored. So I'm just going to fold. And use that bottom right angle there so that I know I've got it correct. And a really nice run your bone folder along there so you get a nice crisp fold. That way it will not be so bulky in your journal. And then just keep folding all those scored. So I'm just making sure so that it will finally fold and open in a straight line. see. Is that one correct? It is. And then you'll be able to make the accordion. So then we're going to go back and forth like this and like this. And you can see here it didn't quite marry up. Not a big deal because, hold on, I'm going to grab it and show you. I inked around the edges, and you can even see here, this one I actually went over a little bit. It's not quite symmetrical. It's a junk journal. So, you know me and my affinity for ink, distress ink. Jeepers. Searching for words. So I just go around it. I didn't have to do too much distress inking on this one because I had actually tea dyed this sheet previously. I was going to be using it in a different journal ages ago. So I used it when I was playing around to figure out how Mackenzie had done this. So this part is time consuming. I'm going to finish it and then we'll get on with what we're going to do next. Okay, so I've inked all the all around the edges, and then I've inked all the folds. Just, you know, fold it, ink that side, flip it over, ink that side. If that's what you like. I like it. So, so then we put it back into its accordion shape. And if you want, you can also ink this side. And I think I only inked around the edges. I didn't ink the folds on this side, but if you want to, you can. Now, as far as this little ribbon at the top, I freehanded it. So what I did was, hold on, I used that line as my guide, and I just went up to as thick as I wanted it. And then I cut in to meet it. And then I gave myself a little dovetail. Or a swallowtail, or whatever you want to call that. And I think in this case, I'm going to ink that, just so that it stands out a bit more. Now I'm going to have to try and control myself and not be too vigorous, because this really is just paper. It's not the cardstock kind of scrapbook paper. Now I'm looking at it now, and this really would have been pretty if I had taken time to get up out of my chair and gone over and got my China blue ink. Wouldn't that be pretty in the China blue ink? You know what? It's not too late. I might go get that. We got time. Okay, found my blue. This is, a friend gave it to me. She was all done her scrapbooking stage in her life. This is Pacific Point Stampin' Up. She said they're really old. She said, I hope they still work. And I said, well, bring them over. She was coming over for a visit anyways. And I said, we'll see. And if not, you know, no worries. And they work fantastic. So, and she even has the little refill bottles. So let's just go around the edge with the blue. I think that'll look fun. And tie in those blue flowers. Oh, I should have erased those little pencil marks. I can go back and do that if I really want. I think once it's folded, you won't notice. I like that. Oh yeah, that's pretty. All right, I'm happy. Let's get this out of the way before I get more. There we go. Now, it has a notch because you literally glue it in along here, and then just glue down this ribbon. So, in here, you're just going to chomp a notch if you want one. And I seem to have it up around there. I think it's one of those things that you can just sort of eyeball. Let's eyeball it, shall we? There we go. And then, of course, now we have that raw edge that needs inking. And that's really it. Let me flip this over. So what you would do now is, let's pretend my pencil is my bottle of art glitter glue. You would put your art glitter glue along here, like that, and then probably glue in there and there, because that part is just glued down. So that's where you've got your glue, and you would, I'm not going to glue this down because I think I'm going to save it, and it's going to, pardon me, I apologize. Hubby and I had colds over the Christmas break, and I still am dealing with a leftover cough from it. And every once in a while it decides, I'm going to cough out of the blue and not give you any warning. Is that okay? And I don't care if it's okay. Not okay. Anyhow, so then you would glue it down like that, and that way you can flip out. And this part can be your tuck spot. I guess it could also be a belly band if you only wanted to glue it there on the other side. But I'll show you what you can do as far as making little journaling spots on both sides. So what I did for the journal that I put one of these in previously. Wonder which one it was and who's got it now. There we go. You can hand tear this if you want. But what I did was I just cut strips that were slightly smaller, and then I just used my pencil cut along that. And again, ink if you so wish. Glue stick if you so wish. or whatever your glue of choice is. And what I did was, again, using thin paper, you're going to keep your bulk down. I'm not used to doing tutorials. Look at me doing a tutorial. What the heck? So that makes that side a journaling spot. And then you can, I'm going to give that a fresh edge. There we go. Actually, I want it here. And I'll show you why. And you might think, why are you doing it that way, Catherine? Aha. And I bet some of the smarty pants out there already know. I have to replace the little rubber band that the blade runs along on my cutting board. So if you want to glue on the next side and you're thinking, don't cover up the pretty paper. Oh, I'm not gonna cover all of it up. What I'm going to do is center this so you still see it around all the edges. Put it there like that, so you got a little journaling spot. So 2 journaling spots, but when you close it, you still have that pretty paper there. Isn't that cute? And then you could go through and do it for all of these if you so choose. Or if your paper was thin enough, I suppose you could just keep going and put one big piece of paper. I'm not sure. I'd have to experiment with that. So that's whoever's got the journal out there in journal land. I'm pretty sure that's what I did with your journal. Is I made journaling spaces on both sides of the accordion shape. Now what I want to do, since we've got a few minutes, I'm just going to do a quick one. I want to see with this legal paper, let's put this away, back in the binder. Oh my goodness. Honestly, why didn't I think of that before? A binder. I'm sure someone else has already, I should search on YouTube, ideas, junk journal ideas binder. Now, I wonder if I would still go down to 3. Let's do it anyways. You know what? I am just going to cut this wood table. I don't know if you can see, if I brought my camera close up, you'd see all kinds of knife marks in the table. This drafting table belonged to a actually sort of famous Canadian watercolor artist. His name was Leslie Parks. And of all things, hubby and I were going to visit his daughter Julia. And come on, there we go. And we passed a house that was having a garage sale, and I noticed in pieces leaning against the garage an old drafting table. And I said, stop the car. And I got out and went over and I checked to make sure all the pieces were there. And let's see how wide this is, because we've got it. If we want them 2 inches wide, that means I'd get 7 folds. Well, we'll see. Anyhow, one, hold on, I have to be able to count. 2, 3, 4. So all the pieces were there, and I said, how much for the old drafting table? And it was in worse condition than this, because Leslie had glued massive cutting mats to the top of this. He had grown tired of this wood topping, and he literally used some kind of glue caulking gun and glued glued 2 huge cutting mats to the top of it. But I knew that there was potential in this table. And she said, oh, $20. And I said, I'll take it. As soon as I figured out, I said, all these pieces, this all goes back together, right? She says, yeah, we just took it apart yesterday. She said it was in our Four Seasons room on the back of our house. And I just kept my plants on it. And she said, it used to be my dad's. And I said, oh my goodness, and you don't want it? And she said, well, my dad actually was a member of the Watercolorist Society of Canada, which is a great honor. Like, you get invited into that. It's like an award. It's not a club you can join. It's like getting an Academy Award for the Canadian Academy Award for being a watercolor painter, that sort of thing. Anyhow, she said, I said, oh my goodness. I said, you don't want this? Your dad's painting table? And she said, well, he gave me a lot of things, and including, I've got many of his originals. I've certainly got all my favorites. She said, he did not give me the talent of art. She said, so, as I said, it was holding my plants, and if somebody can use it, I'm very happy to let it go to a new home. And it came here to my home. So I was happy to bring it home, and hubby and I put it back together, and I had to peel off the glued-on cutting mats and had a good talk with Mr. Parks over that one. And while I was sanding it, and there we go. And then I had to sand off the glue that's still stuck to it. And I didn't get all of it off. There's a good portion far away in the corners that I don't use anyways. You know what? This time I'm going to erase, because if this turns out, I will be using it as well. So let's erase those little pencil marks. There we go. So, you know what? To cut that one line, I don't mind. I bet Mr. Park was cheering me on. It cracks me up, though, because you can see where he... Up higher in the right-hand corner, first of all, he must have been right-handed, because most of the paint mess is on the right-hand side here. And then in the far right-hand corner up top, he must have been a smoker, because there are cigarette burns up there, where obviously he was so engrossed in what he was doing that he... I didn't measure this properly, but oh well. The cigarettes must have kept burning, and ashes fell off until the butt fell off of the ashtray and then just burned right onto the wooden tabletop. All right, so I did this too fast, but it's still, you get the idea. So that was a legal one, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Where did I put the pretty one we just made? Okay. So it's still the same height, but there's the one extra fold, because this one only goes to Wait a minute. No. Am I imagining it all? No, I did get one extra. Oh my goodness. I'm losing it. Anyhow, so then, of course, if you want to make your little ribbon, if you want to leave it a triangle, leave it a triangle. If you want it to look like a little tassel, I kind of like that. Just cut yourself, just eyeball it, cut a triangle out there, and then give yourself a little, cut a triangle out here. And then you're good. Tons of journaling space on both sides. So there you go. So it was 6 3/4. I suppose you could do as steep a slant as you want. It's mostly whatever the name of it is, that's a rectangle, but they're not equal sides. And it's almost like a square triangle. And knock yourself out. There we go. So now we know. And the person that made the request, it turned out she made one of the things in the in my binder, that beautiful dried flower that was sewn inside the vellum. And I should have remembered that. But I'm glad that she spoke up. That I love when people say, hey, that was me. And I was able to write her name in, and the flowers came from her house. So now it's all written in my binder, and I won't forget now. Next time I go through the binder, I'll go, oh, so-and-so made this for me. And then I can make one myself to put in. Although I hesitate to put real grasses and real dried flowers into journals that could possibly be going over the border, because there are some rules and regulations that does fall into the category of there could still be seeds on those flowers, and if they catch it, if it suddenly they decide, let's open this up and inspect it, I've often wondered if that's something that they'd take issue with at customs, have dried flowers and dried, anything off of trees, dried leaves, that sort of thing. Anyhow, there we go. Thanks for joining me today as we made these little journaling spots. And here's the original one from Mackenzie K from TikTok. So I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope wherever you are that you're safe and healthy, and your loved ones too. We'll talk soon. Bye.